Hey, y'all, if you ask me, gerrymandering is one of the most American political concepts there is. I mean, think about it. A process which maintains a superficial charade of democracy whilst allowing those in power to rig the system against any cohort which might otherwise challenge them. I mean, that's right up there with baseball and apple pie, baby. It's old, too. The word was coined in 1812, so it took about 40 years for American politicians to realize they might have screwed up with that whole of, by, for the people thing. Some point along the way, they were like, hey, you guys know how we came up with this democracy deal in America? We were gonna let voters choose politicians. What if instead we let politicians choose voters? You're like, oh, dude, that's way better. We should have done that the whole time. Let's just do that. And that's how gerrymandering happened. I mean, not really, but kind of. Anyway, people get confused by gerrymandering. Here's how I think it basically works. Like, imagine the Republican leaders of a very red state. They're looking at an area that's big enough to support like 4 congressional districts. And they're looking at it and they're like, we sure are a lot of black people in this area. And we all know black people aren't going to vote for us Republicans because they somehow got it in their heads that we'll oppress and disenfranchise them, which is, of course, ridiculous. So what we're going to need to do here is we're going to unjustly exercise our authority to artificially reduce their voting power. Now, and then they just start willy-nilly drawing lines on a map until somehow this area that's majority black is represented by 1 Jasmine Crockett and 3 Ben Shapiros or whatever, because that makes sense. Gerrymandering's been around a long time, but it's in the news right now because I guess recently someone walked into Donald Trump's office like, sir, it seems the majority of Americans hate us and all the things we're doing. So when they vote in the midterms, it could be catastrophic. Well, let's just not let any of those people vote then. No, that we're working on. That is the plan. We're trying that. But in the meantime, we thought we should do something else. So they called up Texas and told them to start mandering up some Jerry's, toot sweet, right? And now it feels like we got an electoral arms race kicking off because California has already put their own redistricting plan forth to counteract Texas's. Yesterday, Trump said he wants to outlaw mail-in voting. They've realized that more Americans voting is bad for their chances, so they're pulling out all the stops. I'm telling you, we're like 2 more months of bad polling away from Kristi Noem going on TV. Like, I think we can all agree women's suffrage was a mistake, right? That's why I'm okay with California taking the gloves off, because like gerrymandering sucks. It shouldn't be allowed at all. But if they're going to do it, you goddamn right, you should do it too. You know what I mean? Like, the Democratic Party that I grew up with, they wouldn't have. They would have been like, is it really worth winning if you have to compromise your principles to do so? And it just seems like maybe they finally realized that the answer to that question is, yeah, motherfucker. Absolutely it is. I don't know how it took you that long to realize that, but better late than never, I guess. Jesus Christ. Get it together. It's go time, baby. Love y'all.